Ahoy, shipmates! It's a double header tonight. Fortunately, we can't see the ships in question, and that is the Spirit of Discovery and the Aurora. A quick look on one of the AIS maps, and there we go. That's where they are. Just refresh that. Now we can see the Spirit of Discovery is more or less... Oh, I can point at it. There we go. The Spirit of Discovery is here in the middle swing ground. And the Aurora is going to the upper swing ground. Fortunately, it'll be a little while before we see them. They are just behind, further up to the right-hand side of the Queen Victoria there. Looks like she's having some work done. There's a couple of cranes there at the end of the pier. I do think I need to... Oh, there's a sailboat out. Lots of late night sailing for that boat. So there's a decent breeze out there. That being an ideal evening for a sailing. It's making the Netley cam wobble around a bit. I think Netley cam needs a bit of work to try and stabilise it. And also, I don't have the radio working either, so I'm all gone to pot this evening. Excellent information from Roberts, the Aurora. 151 crew on board, but no passengers on the Aurora. Don't know if we've got any details on the Spirit of Discovery. A few shipmates in the chats there. Ira Morgan. Ahoy there, Ira Morgan. Ahoy there, Gemma Harris. And ahoy there, TCC. And ahoy there, Counts Officer. And ahoy there, Linda West. And one of our excellent spanners, Kevin 2, has posted an article in Daily Echo that says the Queen Elizabeth has cancelled some sailings. Oh. I shall read that later. Ahoy there, Lewis Edlin. And Linda West asking, is Queen Victoria not departing this evening? No, no departing for Queen Victoria, which is a bit of a shame because we've got a good view of Queen Victoria. According to my AIS map, the Spirit of Discovery looks like she's completed her turn. And the Aurora is right at the top of the docks, next to Al Zubra, one of the container ships, and she's just turning. She'll take a little bit of time, so we'll be seeing Spirit of Discovery first. No details for Spirit of Discovery yet. Okay, we don't even know her destination. I wonder where she's off to. Sounds like Aurora is off to the wonderful Weymouth Bay again. I wonder where Spirit of Discovery is off to. Let's have a look, see if we can find any information out on that. No. So we'll have to wait till the radio calls in. Yeah, no information on Spirit of Discovery's departure. Or how many passengers on board. Or anything else for that matter. Spirit of Discovery is one of the Saga cruise ships. And she was relatively new into port. Well, port for the channel anyway. Well, for this channel, obviously. I think, if I remember correctly, we had some fireworks on Spirit of Discovery earlier. Just unfortunately, this time of year is not doing us any favours with the light. We're going way past the sun. Although with the clocks going backwards, will that make that better or worse? Oh, I can't. Oh, I'll probably make it a bit better. Be a bit lighter. Right here in the evenings. I think I've got that around the right way. Spirit of Discovery going to Malaga. Oh, off to Spain. Well, that's a jolly decent cruise all the way around the Bay of Biscay, past Portugal, between the continent of Africa and Europe, past Gibraltar, into the Mediterranean, and up to Malaga. That will be a decent cruise. And probably some jolly decent weather as well. Oh, there John Whittaker. Oh, there Jeff Ross. Says he loves this. Thank you. Missed our cruise ship visits this year here in Vancouver. A lot of people have been missing their cruise ships this year. Oh, Kevin too's got some information here on Spirit Discovery, calling it Malaga. And then Valletta in Malta. Heraklion. Mykonos. Kanakail. Oh, I'm not going to pronounce some of these names correctly. Istanbul. Athens. Calgary. Almira. And returning. Gosh, that is a wonderful cruise. Essentially going around the Mediterranean by the looks of it. Down to the two cameras at the moment. We've got the Cow's Cam, which is not looking particularly bright over the Solent, but we should be able to see the two cruise ships past there. And of course, Netley Cam, we can follow them all the way down to Southampton water. Might be worth having a look. I think we'll see Spirit Discovery in the next 3 or 4 minutes, I would think. I go back to the map. There we go. You can see the Spirit Discoveries just going past Town Quay, another way down. The Solent and the Aurora looks like she's still trying to complete her swing at the upper swing ground. It won't be long now. I need to get my timings right for these new locations of cameras. It's not like the previous times where we had cameras in port. I'm hoping these cameras will return, but we'll see what happens. Oh, there, Lisa Sargent. Oh, it says, feel so sorry that you can't show the ports anymore. Love tuning in every morning to see the Isle of Wight. Love your cruise cams too. Well, thank you. Thank you, shipmate. So we shall see what happens. I have been promised a meeting with the powers that be. This could be a fruitful meeting, or I could be taken away in handcuffs. You never know. Never know which way it's going to go. Either way, it'll be exciting. One of the red jets shooting off to the Isle of Wight, and one of the red funnels coming in from the Isle of Wight. Red funnel's been having a tricky time lately. Fire on board one of their ferries. The fire, of course, was in the galley area, and the culprit was the deep fat fryer. Always seem to be the cause of many a problems, the deep fat fries. I wonder if it's because we're British and we like our chips that we probably have more fires than other European countries that don't eat so many chips. I don't know. Maybe we have better fire suppression systems in the kitchens because of that. to me like Spirit Discovery is inching ever so close. Just coming up on the Queen Victoria. We can't really see much. If I go a little bit to the right. Oops. Oh, come on. This control system seems to really like down as the preferred motion. Even when you press right, it still wants to go down. I don't know if we can see something there. Just think we can see the stern, actually. Yes, there we go. In between the grain silos and the Ro-Ro and the multi-storey car parks. In the distance. Just see her behind Queen Victoria. Spirit of Discovery, not one of the larger cruise ships. So, Queen Victoria is probably going to cover up. Has a total passenger capacity of 999. She's sponsored by the Duchess of Cornwall, dear old Camilla. That launched in 2019, so fairly new vessel. Of course, a lot of 2020 would have been out of service, so I suspect she's all shiny and sparkly on board. 58,000 gross tons and 236 metres in length. So a fairly, in the world of cruise ships, fairly small. And I'm sure plenty big enough for a wonderful cruise around the Mediterranean. And here she comes. Come on, maximum zoom here. Oh, there we go, a bit more. There we go. Oh, there's the old Hythe ferry. Buzzing around. Well, the advantage, of course, I suppose, of the nighttime departures are we do get to see the ships all lit up in all sorts of exciting colours. Some of the older ships, I don't think, benefit very much from being there at night time. But some of the newer ships look absolutely amazing. Particularly, I'm thinking of the Iona. She lights up really well. It's got a, I think right in the middle there's a entertainment venue or bar, nightclub, whatever. And you can really see all the lights on that. And if there's a lot of lighting on the top of the superstructure on the Iona. So she does light up well. Ahoy there, James Bridge. Ahoy there, Kevin Phillips. It says it's 1,118 people have signed the petition so far. Well done. Thank you all, shipmates. Absolutely brilliant. That's one of our fellow shipmates that set up that petition. I'm amazed how popular it is. Oh, well, there, Jeff Ross is asking, other than the small park across from the Holiday Inn, what other spots can I take great pictures of cruise ships arriving and departing? We have Stanley Park here for close pics. Stanley Park. Jeff Ross, are you from Vancouver, British Columbia? I think that's where Stanley Park is. That's what we talk about. There are a number of locations for ship spotting here in the Port of Southampton. I should make a video about it, shouldn't I? Be the easiest way to inform you all. Mayflower Park is an excellent location. You also have Town Quay. Town Quay is also an excellent location. Doesn't have the advantage of the ice cream van like Mayflower Park does. But you can see the ships, like for instance the Queen Victoria that was just docked at the end of the dock, and you can see 44 berth, the ocean dock where the Queen Mary 2 typically docks and Iona. So Townquay Park's good for that. And if they're coming in, they often swing around, so you get to see them very slowly moving around, which is really, really nice. Further afield, you can come down to near where the camera is here in Queen Victoria Country Park. You can see them sailing by. Bit of a distance, but you can see them as they come and go. Cowshot Spit is another excellent location. You can get really close to them. They come very close to land. See, I thought you were in Vancouver. You get really close to them as they come around Cowshot Spit. And there's also ice cream facilities there as well. But they are moving quite a bit faster at Cowshot Spit. That's probably about it, really. Actually, there is, if you want to watch a static cruise ship, in fact, the restaurant in IKEA is a rather good place to see the ships moored up during the day. That also allows you to stock up on your meatballs. Oh, Linda West's asking how many crew and passengers on board. No information as yet. They've not radioed in. Oh, there, Raymond Dickerson saying that Iona's sitting in Le Havre at the moment, preparing to leave. Good view on webcam. I think there's an Iona webcam, isn't there? I think it's on the... somewhere, it must be near the command post of the deck or something. On the bridge, somewhere near the bridge, I think. That's the webcam I'm thinking of. Good view. Oh, there, Roy says in 4 or 5 months' time we'll be back to daylight. Yes. I quite like the dark winters. Can't beat going to your local pub after a walk with your dog by the open fire with a rum in one hand and a dog treat in the other. Hi there, Martin Windsor asks a very pertinent question. He says, how is the channel viewing hours going? Actually, shipmate, they're going really well. With a lot of the stats on YouTube, they're not updated particularly quickly. Delayed from anywhere from 48 to, well, 48 to a lot hours. Currently, pretty close to 1,000 heights. Live streams used to count towards the viewing hours, but YouTube have changed their algorithm, and now they don't count towards viewing hours unless they're short, as in, i.e., like Ships TV. Ships TV is perfect. Generates a decent number of viewing hours, which means I can get the memberships back up and generate a bit of revenue from advertising to pay for more cameras. Coming along nicely, thanks, shipping. And probably the first thing I'll be buying will be a couple of guy lines to stop this Netley cam wobbling around, and also something to straighten it up slightly because it's a little bit on the wonky side. Makes the ships look like they're going downhill or uphill. Oh, Raymond Dixon says, webcam on Harbour Master at Le Havre. There we go. I wonder how the other one's doing. Aurora's still deep in the port of Southampton. There'll be some time. I'd imagine this rate we're probably going to see Spirit of Discovery almost all the way down Southampton water before we get to see Aurora. Shortly, in the background there, you can just see a few masts. You can, yeah. It's one of the many swing moorings. You just about see the outlines of the ships there. Quite a lot of swing moorings down this part. Harbour out of the water. Although you will notice that the number of ships at the swing moorings will decrease during the winter. Ahoy there, James Duffy. He's just made it. Ahoy there, News Girl 100, who's giving Jeff Ross some pertinent information about staying in the Holiday Inn. Make sure you stay on the 6th floor of the Holiday Inn and you have unrivaled views of the ferry terminal right down to Cowshop. This is absolutely true. There are phenomenal views from that hotel. Another one of the red jets buzzing past. This is Spirit of Discovery on one of the Saga, owned by and operated by Saga Cruise Line. The ever popular travel company for the better generation. This is the first ever new built ship for Saga. I think before this one they were all repurposed from other lines. It's the first dedicated ship built in Germany. Still just a little bit of light in the sky, so by the time the clocks go back, we might have a little bit more lights in the evening. The camera does seem to struggle with all these different brightnesses of levels. And there is Fawley in the background. You may have seen Fawley mentioned, Fawley Refinery, in fact, the Esso Refinery at Fawley. You may have seen that mentioned in the news lately, this morning, in fact, as the Extinction Rebellion were there, climbing on top of the silos and blocking the roads, generally trying to persuade people not to use fossil fuels. They had their famous pink sailboat parked right in the entranceway. In fact, their pink sailboat was sailing around Southampton water a while ago, a few months ago. I'm not quite sure what for. I did look it up, but couldn't see anything going on. Wait, there, Gail Ronnie says Saga, double the cost of a normal cruise. Okay. I'm not familiar with the pricing of Saga cruises, so I couldn't do it. Well, there, TCC says, nice looking, more compact ship. Yes, I think that was the intention of Saga cruises. They didn't want to go for an enormous ship. They wanted something in the more traditional feel, with not too many people on board. I say not too many people, but thousands, still a lot of people, isn't it? Quick check, see what's happening with Aurora. Nope, she's still only just off Town Keep here. That's amazing, isn't it, how different it is. If you can swing in the middle swing ground and leave, you're quite a long way down Southampton water before the other ship has even left the port. Looks to be a relatively clear night tonight. If it was any clearer, we might be able to spot some meteorites. And of course, there is the infamous Fawley chimney, which will be demolished this Sunday at 7 o'clock in the morning. Don't forget the clocks go back. I will be live streaming from this camera, and also another camera, and potentially the drone as well. Although the current forecast for demolition of Fawley chimney is, the weather forecast is not very good. It's 75% chance of rain and quite windy. That doesn't really go very well with operating a drone, so we shall have to see how that goes. But it will certainly be on the live stream, and of course I will record it, make a little video of it. It's a landmark that's been in the area now for well over 40 years. A lot of people have grown up with it. You can see it from all over the area, from all over the New Forest, all over Southampton, all over the east side of Southampton. It's a real landmark. Many people have seen it from their bedroom windows and have said to me they're really going to miss it. In fact, one chap, he was so sorry to see it go. He was going to fly back from the States just to see the demolition of the chimney. Unfortunately, his wife said, "You can go, but if you do go, don't come back." So I think he's staying in the States and going to watch the live stream. That's Sunday, 7 o'clock. Now, the other problem visually we have here is the Esso terminal here, all the tankers, which is lit up extremely brightly. A real challenge for this camera. This is down this location. Still waiting for Aurora to pop out from the dockhead. Must be getting very close, I would think. If I remember, do I? If I can get reset to work. Yeah, it's just behind there somewhere. Yeah, the Netley camera does seem to be affected by wind. It's on top of a tall mast. That mast isn't particularly secure, so I think a couple of guy lines might stop wobbling around. Of course, it's because it's on the edge of Southampton water. It's fairly exposed, and there is some sort of breeze coming up Southampton water, and it's just making the camera wobble. I would think now that Aurora may well be visible. Let's have a look, shall we? There we go. No passengers on Aurora, so not so many lights on her way down to the wonderful Weymouth Bay with crew on board only. I'm just looking Back to see if I can remember. I can't remember how many crew are on board. 151 crew, so not very many crew at all. Oh, there's Chanel Buckdall. It says, this camera's awesome, so happy to see your cruise ships again. Thank you so much. Now, once I can find how to donate, I will. Glad to see you, everyone. Oh, well, thank you, shipmate. I will, I do need to put the donate links back up. I have been slightly busy lately. Trying to get things going again, as well as keeping busy during the day with other things. I suppose that's one advantage of the white cruise ships rather than the coloured hull ships. They do look better at night time. I personally quite like some of the coloured ships. During the daylight it's nice to see something other than white. But now I can see that in the night time a white ship is better for the camera. And there are one of our excellent spanners. Kevin 2 has posted a link there if you care to donate. We have a Patreon and also a PayPal. As soon as the watch hours from the channel come up, I shall restart the membership system for this channel as well. The Aurora cruise ship, I suppose similar in size to the Spirit Discovery, a little bit longer, but almost double the passengers, maximum passengers of 1950. And compared to the Spirit Discovery, almost 20 years older, being launched in January of 2000. It's not often we see cruise ships that are over 20 years old in the port here of Southampton. The only cruise ship from memory that I know of that seems to be significantly older and seems to be bucking the trend is the Disney Magic. I'd have to say that Disney Magic still actually looks pretty good. They must be spending reasonable money keeping her up to date. But Aurora, like I say, on the smaller side compared to some of the other ships, but equally popular. I always hear good things about Aurora from various shipmates who've travelled. Talking of which, News Girl 100 has said that the P&O's Aurora and Arcadia offer child-free cruises. That's it. I knew there was something about it. With adult-only cruises, aren't they? I think that's what the new Virgin Scarlet Lady, I think she's adult-only cruises as well. Much as I love the little darlings, I think there was a time that quite nice to leave them at home. So yeah, depending on your preferences, you've got all sorts of cruise ships catering for all types of activities. Oh, were there Bradley Hollands? Even back in 2000, when Aurora was completed, she cost approximately $375 million. That's just a mere drop in the ocean today for some of these super yachts that are out and about. Oi, Liz Whittlesea. Apologising for being late. No problem there, shipmates. We've got the Aurora just coming down Southampton water. A quick look, but I think the... Yeah, it's getting very dark, isn't it? Spirit Discovery's out there somewhere. There she is. Spirit Discovery's almost at the end of Southampton water, about to go around Cowshot Castle. Yeah, it's really difficult. Struggling with this camera. I'm not sure why. I guess it just gets just dark. It's tricky lighting conditions. There we go. Typical piano feature with the Union Jack there on the bow of the Aurora. I believe the Iona has the largest Union Jack painted on any ship. Well, that's true. Can't think of any other ships that have large Union Jacks on. No passengers on the Aurora. I'm not sure why she's not sailing yet. I don't know how busy the actual cruise ships are these days. If people are holding off on booking their cruises. I have seen some fantastic offers around. Now, if you did want to go cruising, I think you would certainly find a bargain. I suppose it's well not to take the risk sailing. That's with everyone being double vaccinated, tests done before you get on. I imagine the risk is fairly reduced. Oh yes, ahoy there, Liz. Was she asking about Cows Camp? Cows Camp, yep, Cows Camp is working. It's also dark in Cows as well. It's surprising really how, considering there's only a few miles between the cameras, how the weather varies quite a lot between the two cameras. You can have a bright, sunny aspect on the Cows Cam, and yet on Netley Cam here, that can be raining, or vice versa. You can see there's some flaring going on there from the refinery. Perhaps they're burning some of those Extinction Rebellion chappies. No, I don't think so. I think it's just burning off the gas products from various different processes. Production of their refined fuels. Can lead to quite an interesting sight over the water when there is a big flaming going on. It can be very bright, just like that, and it does lead to big reflections on the water, and lots of people in Southampton start calling up the fire brigades, saying it looks like something's on fire somewhere. Oh, the Ian Cruise guy says that Aurora's not due to start cruising until 13th of April 2022. Gosh. I'm guessing it's just not busy enough to have the ships running all the time. I haven't really, in the past, paid too much attention, so I'm assuming that cruising is not as busy in the winter as it is in the summer, so they do lay some ships off typically anyway. Let's say more seasoned cruiser could tell me. I've seen some bargain cruises over sort of long weekends, 3 nights or 4 nights over to Germany and then over to the Christmas market in Bruges or whatever it was. They look fairly decent value for money at the moment. I'd have to treat Mrs. Ships to a shopping trip. I see there is a fairly decent breeze out there blowing the wind, blowing the smoke away from the funnel. And New School 100 saying that in the winter the cruise ships tend to be berthed in the Caribbean, so you can do a fly cruise. Of course, I suppose that's the problem this year. What with the US not allowing British people in until recently, then I suppose it's been difficult for the cruise companies to try and organise things when passengers can't fly across the world. It all gets very complicated, doesn't it? Travel is not as easy as it once was. I can vouch for that, having recently travelled to Spain. There was a lot of form filling. I only went for 3 days, and I think I must have spent an entire day filling in forms. Oh, with their PS, it also says the ships are off the Caribbean this time of year and loves a new camera. And Victor Tilson also says the same. We always have a constant number of ships, I know, in the Port of Southampton here, but they definitely do drop off. It's about this time of year where they start becoming quieter. Elizabeth was asking about my last film from a video I did in Liverpool. Why does the water look dark green? Well, think it was dark green. I think it was more browny colour, but I suppose it depends on your visual acuity. It's the River Mersey is very brown, dark in colour. It's a fast-flowing river which churns up all the silt. So it's not actually a polluted river, it's just very silty. Made that film when I was up in Liverpool, in the Wirral, more precisely, having a little session to blend some rusty rum and rusty boy botanicals gin. Say that did go quite well indeed. Hopefully these two products will be available in time for Christmas. Ahoy there, Nicholas August. The bright lights of the Esso refinery saying farewell to Aurora as she goes down to the wonderful Weymouth Bay. And Kevin 2's making a somewhat dubious quality joke about Liverpool's Mersey River being connected to the Irish Sea, hence its green colour. Well, it wasn't St. Patrick's Day. I don't know if they turned the river green in Liverpool St. Patrick's Day like they do in Chicago. All got Aurora on the screen. Let's have a quick look if I can look at the map and see where Spirit Discovery has gone past Cowshot Spit. So we'll probably see Spirit Discovery on Cow's Cam before we see it, before we lose sight of Aurora. If only I could find it. Looks like one of the red funnel ferries is coming this way. I'll keep an eye out for Spirit Discovery on Cow's Cam, and then I'll probably be at it because it's getting quite dark, quite difficult to see. Well, thank you all for tuning in, shipmates. I'm trying to get the service back to normal. I'll try and affect our little technical problems, my wibbly wobbly cameras. Obviously, less cruise ships manoeuvring this time of year. Not as much traffic. Time to make some videos. Thank you all, shipmates, for tuning in. If you are enjoying this content, don't forget it gets better as the year gets on, gets warmer and gets more daylight. Do think about subscribing, it does help awfully. If you care to make a donation, there are links in the chat to donations. I will be putting them in the video descriptions eventually. List of to-dos. Thank you to all of the people who already have donated. Thank you for signing the petition as well. If you'd like to sign the petition, that'd be much appreciated. Thank you to all the PayPal donors. Thank you to all the Patreons. I have a Patreon account if you want to get involved that way. That's, of course, once we've got a few more watch hours on the channel, we'll be able to have memberships available again. And of course, thanks to all the blue spanners for looking after the chats. Not just the chats on these live streams, but also the chats on the constant live streams, which is now only Netley Cam and Cows Cam. But hoping to expand that to a few more cameras shortly. I should keep following the ships until a little bit longer. I would imagine we'll probably see Spirit of Discovery on Cows Cam just as we losing Aurora here. But hopefully I will be able to bring you more coverage from the port of Southampton in the future. Until next time, shipmates. here's the Spirit of Discovery, just passing Cow's Camp. As you can see, Spirit of Discovery does pass Cow's Camp really close. If you happen to live in Cowes, you get a superb view of the ships as they navigate around Bramblebank on their way to either the English Channel or to Southampton Water. We only get a brief view of the ships from this camera, as they are very close to the land, and the view from this camera is slightly restricted by trees and hills. And the other problem being that the ships are travelling quite fast. In Southampton Water, in the port of Southampton, they're doing about 7 knots, and once they get further out, down Southampton Water, they might be doing 12 knots or so on, but when they reach this point here, they can be picking up to 16, 18 knots. They really are picking up speed. So you can see the lights there over in the distance, and the hill. That's the hills. That's Fareham. And to your right, a little bit more, that is Portsmouth. It's not quite visible from this camera. And there we go, disappearing behind a bit of a hill. On the other side of that hill is Osborne House. Well, that is it, shipmates. I think I'll need to shut this one off. It's going to be quite a while before Aurora comes by. But if you just go on cruise cam anyway, you can watch that and she'll come by later. Until next time, shipmates.